What is an ebook? What isn't an ebook? Well, an ebook, I guess, could be considered as an electronic document that has book-like content and can be distributed like a book, but electronically. I've been doing ebooks for a number of years, long before many were doing ebooks, and selling the ebooks to people who would want to buy them. Information that I found to be useful, and they did it as well. Always had rave reviews. But I've never believed in DRM, digital rights management, when it comes to ebooks. And we've just written and published another nightmare story about, or almost a nightmare story about ebooks in general and the potential pitfalls. In the article titled "An Ebook Almost Rant," Sherman has detailed kind of the experiences that he's had with ebooks. And I think that's probably the biggest hurdle ebooks have to overcome before they gain true mass adoption, is getting over the idea that if I buy an ebook here, I can only read it there. That doesn't make any sense to me. I think as far as DRM is concerned, it's more to keep the publishers feeling safe in the idea that those distributions, the electronic distributions, which really have no shelf life, there's virtually no cost associated with distributing 1,000 ebooks versus 1,000 books because you're not dealing with anything physical. It's just keeping them, I guess, on a short leash and tying them into a user's account. And by and large, I'm okay with, keeping the publisher at the center of the model. But we've also entered an era where anybody can be an ebook publisher. I can sell my ebooks on Amazon if I wanted to and be available in the Kindle store. I could do it through Apple and their iBook store. And I think Amazon's probably, in my estimation, they have probably one of the better models out there, but publishers are keeping them back. Amazon, I don't believe, would want to enforce DRM. But before we had the Kindle and the Kindle bookstore, it was difficult to really manage all these DRM licenses, because you could buy a PDF and it would be stamped with a certain password or a key code, and that could be frustrating if you don't have the right software involved. And I could look at a PDF on my phone, but if it was locked down and the software wasn't supportive, I couldn't get to the content that I'd already purchased. And that's where DRM kind of gets in the way. What's nice, though, about how Amazon handles it, the Kindle bookstore, you could read it on the web. So even if your mobile device, doesn't have Kindle software available for it, I'd be shocked if it didn't, you could still get to the content that you purchased through Amazon. Amazon supports iOS devices. Of course, they support Android devices. They'll support anybody. They don't care. They're selling access to content. The greater challenge is, I was actually shocked when I learned that up until recently, Harry Potter wasn't available as an ebook. I'm like, huh? To me, it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, how could you publish today without going into some kind of electronic format? It would have been a dream come true if, when I was still in school, all the textbooks were available digitally. Oh, it probably would have been a lot more affordable, and I would have been able to find information a lot easier than I had to back. I mean, how much time have you wasted in your life scanning for information on a physical page because you know it was there, but you couldn't do an inline find? Frustrating. So ebooks, they're nice. They're good, as long as the publisher understands that they're really around to serve the reader, the consumer of the content. And the more walls they throw up, the more frustrated that consumer's going to get. Publishers don't seem to have that, really down pat. So there are different ways that you could get around the idea of DRM, like stamping a purchase with someone's credit card information, personal information that they'd never want to get out there. And that would probably stop piracy real quick, more than DRM would. And it wouldn't be interruptive, as DRM schemata has been in the past. Umphreys says, I would have never studied. Really? Apparently you've grown up then with digital textbooks. I never had that. DRM equals fail, says Tech1511. I'm in complete agreement, and I think Sherman is really in line with this. This could be really troublesome when you want content, you want to get to that content, and you're willing to pay for that content. and still, walls are thrown up. Even if you're not paying for it and you're trying to get access to it, the more walls that are thrown up, the less likely you're going to be to even consider, pursuing the viewing or digesting of that content. Not like a physical in eating the book or ebook, really. It's a completely different scenario there altogether. But just curious to know, have you ever purchased an ebook or downloaded an ebook if it was free? And what were some hurdles that you had to face, if any? What's the best ebook system that you've found that works?